Okay, YouTube. I'm just getting set up here. It's a dark, gloomy day, and as you can see, my light is overly bright for some reason. What we're cooking today is beef roast on Motormouth Master Chef. I'm in my comfortable clothes. I didn't really feel like doing this today. I didn't do it yesterday because I went to go make a quick run, to Dallas, and I don't live in Dallas. But it's quite a ways away from me, so it takes about an hour drive to get there, about an hour to get back. Total time is usually around 2 hours and 30 minutes, given what stops I make or whatnot. But anyhow, we're cooking a roast today, a beef roast. And I'm going to get all my ingredients and stuff now. My kitchen's not exactly clean, but it's sanitary enough that I'll cook in it. So, give me a sec to put on my hand sanitizer. So, here we have the beef roast, which I already have a pan heating up because what I'm going to do is sear it and then allow it to cook on simmer for 2 to 3 hours. So it's going to take quite a bit of time, but this has been seasoned and sat overnight. And also have baby red potatoes, which I'm going to cut up and place in boiling water along with baby carrots. Now I do have a tomato that will also most likely receive its way into the batch of seasoning, as I intended to use it that way. I was going to make a like a beef roast stew, but I can't do that now because I don't have like beef broth or chicken broth or any of those ingredients. So I'm going to just kind of change it up and do potatoes on the side with the baby carrots and maybe something else to go with that. So I'm just kind of doing things on the fly at the moment, like having to find the knife. There's one behind me because I've been stacking dishes. You can also see behind me a Monster energy drink. Alright, now we're just going to cut this up. I'm going to show you potato here. And today I'm just going to cut our potato into these neat slices. We'll boil these slices, and this will be something different than the usual. Now, usually they say with the roast, just add your veggies in there the last hour of cooking your roast. And I'm going to do things just a bit differently. Since these are slices, I may not put them in with the roast. I may just put them in with the carrots after the carrots have boiled for some time. And we're just going to leave it straight like this. Usually people do cubes. I don't feel like doing cubes today, so I'm going to go for something new. Something that'll almost look potato chip-like, but boiled with the skin on it. And just so you guys know, my pan has been heating up for the roast itself. I'm going to brown it and then going to drop the temperature. But first I'm going to have to add the butter that I have, which has honey in it, which should add some flavor to the searing process and a crustacean, hopefully. So that's done. I wanted to get over here and do this really quick. Now the carrots I won't have to slice because they're already in the freezer and they're baby carrots. I don't know what freezer had anything to do with it, but you know I'm here. Just working off the fly. So I've added lemon pepper seasoning. I've already done this and let it sit overnight. Yet I'm doing it again just to add that, you know, flavor. It had a bit more flavor to it. I've decided to keep my hair for now. I've gotten great compliments on my hair, although you can't really see the magnitude of my hair in the light because there's so much glare going on. And it frizzes out. The stuff I use said it's supposed to be non-frizz, but my hair is straight in the beginning and then it curls. And not all of it really, so it's hard to find a product except gel that works. You might hear the butter kind of searing. I'm trying to get that honey flavor deep in the pan before I add roast. So we're not going to do just lemon pepper. We're going to go ahead and add, if I can get that to work, which having trouble getting the onion to work, yay me. Okay, so the pan is heated pretty well. I'm going to raise the temperature a bit. Make sure I got everything good and hot and plenty of honey butter for caramelization of our roast itself, so I can get some good browning going on each side. Then lower our temp and allow it to cook slowly for a couple hours probably. I'll check with my meat thermometer. And the music you hear behind me is Italian hip hop. Yes, I do love hip hop. Some of it, not all of it. But I listen to a variety of different music. That's just some of what I listen to. Just going to add this onion salt. And this ought to give us a very, very good flavor. Could add a little normal salt, couldn't we? Just to give it that tenderizing effect, but we don't want to overdo anything, so I just kind of lightly sprinkle things as that thing likes to pour it out. And I think things in my pan about good and ready to brown. The meat, I've just got to throw the meat in there and hope that it is nice and heat it so we get that browning effect. That barely fit America, but she should shrink up quite a bit. The pan's kind of small, but yet again, if I can get away with trapping in those juices, I will. So potatoes are ready. I'm going to start boil on the pot so we can throw these in. Well, I'll probably throw in the carrots first and let these be the second thing a little later on down the line. So right now I'm going to give this thing a couple of minutes on each side to really brown good. And then if we brown the other side, I'll crank the temperature down and we're good. And now many people trim these roasts and trim a lot of fat. I'm going to keep a lot of that fat on there for flavoring. It does very well at flavoring. It doesn't have much fat in the middle. It's more on the outside of the actual roast. So we're just going to leave that on there in hopes that makes a good, almost sort of broth juice within the pan as we cook it. Like I said, I'm using a small pan. It barely fit, which is perfect for me, as I'm attempting to trap in all of that juice so that when the slow cooking process starts, all that flavor is trapped in the meat. And let me give you guys an idea after I flip it. Right now I'm just trying to let it brown as much as possible on this one side. I'm hoping it'll brown. If not, I guess I'm just SOL, because I've got to continue the cooking process so I can get fed. I haven't made breakfast or anything of that sort, so I'm going to be waiting on this in order to eat. So yay me, I did get a lot of the browning I desired. So let me show you guys. Okay, so as you can see, that worked out perfectly. A very nice browning going on. Now I could have probably allowed it to sear a bit longer. I'm actually going to crank up the temperature a notch to really allow this to continue to brown on each side very well. And then start the slow cooking process, and this should look like something out of a freaking chef's kitchen. Motormouth Master Chef. Except, I don't really know what I'm doing 100% of the time. If you'll excuse me, the dog is calling me to be let out. So leave it up to the dog to interrupt my video. But however, we do have a good browning going on. After this is done, I'm going to go ahead and add ingredients into the pot I have with boiling water in it. And yeah, then I'll do another video showing you the finished product. I had to move some dishes to get to my lid that I've got to put on this thing. So I'm going to flip it again and crank that temperature. I've got to wait a second or two. I want to make sure I get a full couple minutes on each side, 2 to 3 minutes, so I really get that browning that I like. Okay, I believe we're almost there with the browning on the opposite side. I did crank the temperature up to make sure I get a really good brown. I want this thing nice and brown on both sides, and then we crank the temperature down. That'll give that visual, what a lot of chefs like to do, especially for the plating effect. It really gives that wow factor to it. Okay, so I did do pretty good on the browning of the other side. However, it didn't get quite as brown as I'd like it to. So I'm going to give it a minute and a half or so on this other side and flip it again. I have to periodically check on the dog to make sure he's okay. Very beautiful dog. People look at him. I don't want anybody taking him. So I keep an eye on him like he keeps an eye on the property. I'm going to add my carrots now to the pot I have with boiling water since we're waiting on the big roast to sear. Okay, so now that I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and flip this thing in. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys the browning that's occurred and then go ahead and cut this video. Okay, so I'll do another video here shortly. It's been Motormouth Master Chef. I hope you've enjoyed the video. For those of you watching, no one's been watching lately, but just maybe, someone might be on this one. But thank everyone for watching. I encourage you to subscribe and hit the notification bell if you enjoy the videos. If not, that's alright. I'm going to go ahead and cut the heat down on my roast and add some more butter to it, and I'll do another video here soon.